Serious people who stopped going no contact with someone. How did it go? Reconciled with a friend. He started doing the same shit. I left again for good. Going back to a broken relationship is like watching a movie again and hoping it'll end differently this time. I was no contact with my father for 5 years when he went missing. The police couldn't really help, so I organized the search and eventually found him. Thought that phone call would be our come-to-Jesus moment. It went horrible. He was pissed he had robbed someone and didn't want to be found. Screamed and acted like a child, blamed me for his life, addiction and homelessness, and literally screamed, "La la la, I can't hear you," when I tried to have a serious talk with him, then admitted he had been. If you remove someone from your life, there is a reason. In my experience, I am always reminded why I stopped talking to them in the first place. They asked to meet up one day. I read and ignored, then they proceed with an apology for what they've done. I told him I forgive, but I don't forget. That's why I chose to go no contact. I forgive for my peace. I do not forget, as part of my learning. We ended up getting in touch again. He quickly goes back to his old trope. But this time I'm better at maintaining distance. He was my best friend growing up. Now he's just an acquaintance. Sometimes distance protects your peace for a reason. Going back only reminded me why I left. It's Mother's Day. Has to be a coincidence. Went and see with my family. It was the only option. I'm lonely a lot, but the truth was I was lonely a lot before the no contact too. So it was just a matter of bad versus worse. It's been over 2 decades now. No regrets other than I wish I was born into a different family. I broke no contact after a few months, and honestly it just reopened old wounds. Nothing really changed. Still complicated. We've done this a couple of times, over 16 years. We love each other deeply, but we're sometimes not good for each other. I wish there was an easy answer to this question. I went no contact with my mom when I turned 18 and moved to college. She was a meth addict who didn't want help and a compulsive liar. She abused my dad. I tried a few years later to see if she was in a better headspace. I tried my best to talk with her and tell her how much she hurt me, but the drugs had rotted her brain too much to where she has trouble knowing right from wrong, and pretty much what I can best describe as dementia. The relationship was past the point of having a decent I did this with my father, who is an abusive alcoholic, so did my brother. We're 7 years apart, bro and I, so we were on different wavelengths when the abuse happened. Years later my father got help, and my brother accepted him back slowly. From my understanding, my brother is happy, my dad is sober, and things are good during my father's twilight years. I never allowed him back, and for me that's the right choice. I went no contact with my mother after a lifetime of drunken verbal abuse and general nastiness from her. Didn't speak for a couple of years until she messaged me to let me know she was having a heart procedure. We tentatively started chatting again after that, until she messaged me to tell me she forgave me for cutting contact with her. Cut contact again. I should have known better. My sister has been trying to get me to reconcile her because she's doing better, and I couldn't give less of. The longer it goes, the easier it gets. I broke no contact not long ago for my now current boyfriend, who was my ex after 2 years. We reconciled with one another. When we broke up, we were both young, 26 and 29. We both forgave each other, made amends, and decided to try again. Both of us pursued new and greater goals. They're starting their career while going to school. I've made headway in my own. We both changed. So great. Homophobic grandparents. Once they found out, they were awful. Never spoke to them again. They died, and I didn't care. The end. Have had a few who went MAGA, and that became their personality, and suddenly everything about them revolved around their brand of politics and conspiracies. Good riddance. There was only one person in my life who I've reconciled with. We got close, he panicked, and ran away. No contact for a few months. Then one of us would break it. We'd end up back together. Rinse and repeat several times as a light switch. Tired of it now, and I will be sticking to NC for my own sanity. It's embarrassing. I'm the one who initiated it, yet I'm the who's also left hanging. Should have just accepted his apology, so we can fix things up, but I've ruined it. Awkward silence hits different. I had a friend whom was my bestie in high school. We hung out 24/7, and when we graduated, he just kind of became a loser, while I continued working and going to college. I had loaned him $20 here and there for gas, etc. Before I knew it, he owed me about $800. He finally got some shitty job and said he'd start paying me back. Never saw a dime. I cut him out of my life, and for several years after that, mutual friends would tell me he asked about me and wanted to hang out. After reading these comments, no contact was the only way to help me stop enabling my sister. I knew she had a good heart and needed to grow up and learn how to be less selfish and cruel without my help. I wasn't planning on breaking NC, but it came to a point where I missed her so much, and I knew I'd regret it if I didn't give her another chance. She did the work. Not talking forced her to rely on herself and reflect on her words and actions. I am still so proud of her. We're still working through some things, but the space. I was no contact with my mother for a while. I guess it was a necessary stage while I was getting some serious therapy. However, one thing that came out of therapy was that I figured out how to have a functional relationship with my mother. Not a close relationship, not an intimate one, but a very functional one that doesn't cause me harm. As for the relationship itself, it serves the function it needs to, and I think my mother is very pleased, which is neither here nor there. But it has made. It depends on the reason of no contact. As per my view, I can be wrong. Seems a lot of people here either can't read or miss the point of stopping a no-contact situation, since most of the replies are just about going no contact and leaving it at that. I went no contact with someone that broke my heart really badly. So badly that I doused myself in gasoline and lighter in hand, almost killed myself. A few years later we reconnected, and I did my best to help her heal. She had a really fucked up family and dating life before and after that incident. We wound up. I did no contact with a narcissist, and it broke the trauma bond. Yay, I was free. That was 9 years ago. Should have gone no contact with the jerk much sooner.